Good afternoon to you. Today we will continue with the economy. In the last class, we have seen the monetary policy. We have highlighted direct instruments, that is cash reserve ratio, statutory liquidity ratio, and refinance facility. These three are called direct instruments because the consequences, that is the impact of these measures under these instruments, can be well gauged by the central bank. Unlike indirect instruments like repo rate, bank rate, and reverse repo rate, etc. Under indirect instruments, we have seen repo rate, bank rate, reverse repo rate, marginal standing facility, etc. Today we will see what is meant by liquidity adjustment facility. Liquidity adjustment facility. Liquidity adjustment facility is the combined operation of repo rate and reverse repo rate to control the inflation and also the flow of credit. It is a combined operation, both put together, that is the repo rate and reverse repo rate, both together it is called liquidity adequacy ratio. The reverse repo rate is always less than the repo rate. Repo rate is the borrowing rate and the reverse repo rate is the deposit rate. We have already seen this in the last class. The difference between repo rate and reverse repo rate is called LAF corridor. Remember, examination point of view important. What is LAF corridor? Liquidity Adjustment Facility Corridor is the difference between repo rate and reverse repo rate. That is the combined operation of repo rate and reverse repo rate is LAF, and the difference between repo rate and reverse repo rate is called LAF corridor. So remember from the examination point of view. Now we are coming to open market operation. This is so called Brahmastra of RBI to pump money and also to absorb money. This is an effective tool to control inflation. It is the monetary policy instrument for sale and purchase of government security and treasury bills by RBI to regulate the money supply. When the RBI wants to increase the money supply, it purchases the government security, bills and bonds, and the result is money is pumped into the market through banks. On the other hand, if the RBI wants to reduce the money supply, it sells the government security and the bank, and the result a bond, and the result is the excess money is absorbed. So you can keep in mind, if the pumping money, that is they will purchase, and for absorbing money they will sell the security, bonds, etc. RBI carries out OMO, that is open market operations, through scheduled commercial banks. It is easy for you to remember. It is easy for you to remember through SA. What does SA mean? You sell government security and absorb money. Similarly, PI means purchase government security and inject money in the market. OMO is very popular measure and it is a popular monetary instrument used for regulating the money supply. So remember, we have seen OMO, that is open market operations, and also repo rate, reverse repo rate, LAF corridor. All these things we have seen. Now we are coming to market stabilization scheme market stabilization scheme. It is a monetary instrument introduced by RBI again to absorb excess liquidity, that is excess money, by selling government security. This was introduced in 2004. Remember, from examination point of view, when it was introduced? 2004. It market stabilization scheme. It is a monetary instrument introduced by RBI in 2004 to absorb excess liquidity. As you are aware, if you might have studied the economy in the initial portion. During 2002 and 2004, there was a huge inflow of foreign capital in the country. Huge inflow. Because at that time, if you remember, the growth rate was 8%. So, the result is high appreciation in the value of rupee. Appreciation of rupee means, let us say today, $1 is equal to rupees 75. And it has come down to 60, let us say. Next month it has come down to 60. It is appreciation, that is the rupee is gaining. If the rupee gains or appreciates, the exporters will lose. Exporters will lose. Why? For example, let us say, example only, 10 kg of gold in the form of jewelry is exported, say for $1,000 today. The exporters will get 75,000 rupees. If the dollar has come down to 60 rupees next month, he will get only 60,000 rupees. So, in the case of appreciation of rupee, the exporters will lose. So, if the exporters will lose if the rupee appreciates. Under these circumstances, what RBI did was, it has intervened in the forex market, that is in the foreign exchange market, and bought the dollars. When you buy the dollars, you have to pay rupees. So, the purchase of dollars by RBI has led to infusion of excess liquidity in the market, which has further led to inflation. So, when you purchase dollars, you pay money. When you pay money, excess of liquid cash, when there is excess money, there is inflation. To overcome this problem, what RBI did is, RBI sold government bonds. The bonds go to the financial institution, and the money goes to the RBI. So the bond is sold to the financial institutions and money goes to the RBI. The security, that is government securities, issued are government bonds, and these are called market stabilization bonds. So, the bonds issued under MSS, that is market stabilization scheme, are called market stabilization bond. So, what is the relationship between MSS and MSB? MSS is a scheme, market stabilization scheme, and the bonds issued under this scheme is called market stabilization bond. Please understand, these securities are owned by government but issued by RBI. Remember, these bonds are owned by government but issued by RBI. In other words, government is the owner and RBI is the debtor. Government lends the bond or the government securities to RBI. So RBI is the debtor. The money will be with the RBI and not with the government. The money will be with the RBI and not with the government. Technically, the fiscal deficit of the government will not be affected. Nevertheless, it has to pay interest. So, interest payment the government has to bear. But the principal amount will be paid by the RBI. Why? The money is with the RBI. You give it to the institution sends the money to the RBI. RBI keeps the money and government does not incur any additional expenditure except interest payment. During demonetization, government issued market stabilization bonds worth 6 lakh crore so that the excess money with the banks is dried up. If the banks give all the money to the RBI under CRR, one defect in the CRR is they will not get interest. On the other hand, if they purchase the bonds from the government, then they will get what is known as interest. So that is why the MSB market stabilization scheme was initially introduced in 2004. Subsequently, it was kept only for 30,000 crore. Under the agreement made with the banks, it was kept only 30,000 crores. It was increased to 6 lakh crore in the demonetization time. So we will end the class today. The next tomorrow or subsequent date, we will continue with the other things. What is the indirect instrument and what is called qualitative instruments. That we will continue. Thank you. Thank you.